Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video here from the Modern King sent to me by a guy named Matrix of Madness. I'm going to leave both of their channels linked in the video description and the pinned comments, so make sure you check them out. But let's jump right into today's episode.
Your Honor, that is his baby. And I can't wait, because the devil is a liar and this is Lucifer, so stop.
Well, you might be the devil then. We'll see.
I am without a doubt 100% certain that he is my son's father. Not only was I only sleeping with him, we were actually working on our relationship. We already have a child from a previous situation. We got back together. We're working on us.
At the time that Jill was conceived, we were not having no type of intercourse. We were not cool at the moment.
He went out and got 3 pregnancy tests, made me take all of them. They were all positive. And he was like, well, that's not my baby.
What's the bet that even though this woman is sitting here yelling at him, calling him Lucifer and things such as this, that it's going to turn out that the kid is still not his? Guys, I mentioned in a recent video that was also confirmed by some people in the comments that it's actually France that does this. But paternity fraud statistics are so incredibly damn high that some governments, one of which is France apparently, refuses to even allow its citizens to know how much women are lying about, paternity, right? So they're committing paternity fraud and they don't tell anybody. The government won't release that information because they don't want the men to know and freak out. Situations like this are so disgusting when, where the man is supposed to pay for a kid that is not his, essentially, right? The women will lie to him, say it's his, and then it turns out that it's not his at all, even though she's been yelling and screaming this entire time.
Well, she was trying to get back with me, but I wasn't, so she probably felt like if we have a child, we might work out.
If he has any doubts, I carried the baby, I birthed the baby. If you have any doubts, go ahead. I don't mind making you look stupid. That's why I'm here now.
Okay, so your point is I'm tired of hearing the denial. If you want a DNA test, let's take it now, because I know you're the father.
Exactly.
Mr. Lee, you are not the father.
Hold up.
I already knew it. I told you.
Don't look at me like that. I don't know God's
Who
plan.
else? It was you that.
I love how she's still trying to play defensive as though she wasn't lying to this man about whether or not it was his kid, right? Oh, I don't know how that happened. I just randomly ended up with a different dude, right? I just randomly fell in some other guy's bed, and then magically also we randomly had a kid and it wasn't this dude's kid. I'm telling you guys, even when these psychopathic liars are caught dead in their tracks, they will continue to lie. It's absolutely crazy.
I told you.
Don't look at me like that. I don't know God's plan.
Who else? It was you that was.
Did you just inject God in this?
I did not put him in this. I'm just saying.
Being on social media, I have spent years just reading thousands and thousands and thousands of comments and DMs from other women who've gone through divorce. And whenever I get this question, why didn't you get half? It just makes my brain explode. I didn't get half because statistically women get screwed over in divorce. Nice! Period.
Yeah, so if you don't get the money, if you don't get half of his crap, apparently that's that's called being screwed over. Guys, I'm telling you, right, when men don't get robbed from, right, when women don't get rewards from men that they shouldn't be getting, they view it as this great injustice. They'll cry harder that you didn't get his money. Also, guys, oftentimes women are walking away with the cash and prizes, so this woman has no idea what she's talking about. But I just love how whenever they can't steal money from men, they complain about it like it's so unfair on them. It's not your money to begin with.
Period. As a stay-at-home mom, I didn't have money for a divorce attorney. I had a terrible divorce attorney. I put most of my attorney's fees on a credit card that I'm still paying off today. He had all the money, so he had incredible representation. Here's some statistics that my crap divorce attorney shared with me.
Wait, so you're telling me this guy had all of the money? Yeah, no wonder you shouldn't even get half because it's all his money anyway. You're sitting here complaining that you can't afford an attorney to try and steal from him. But that just tells you everything you need to know, right? If you have no money, why are you trying to get half of his crap? It's not like you were putting in for half of everything. I see this situation so many times where women will try and steal a man's house. They didn't pay their house deposit. They haven't been paying the larger percentage of the mortgage, right? They haven't been doing nearly their half of the input. yet they will sit here and complain when they don't get half of his things, right? Because they feel as though they're justified in stealing half of his crap. And guys, I don't think women should be paid this at all. As soon as you break up with a man, you should no longer have the privileges of being with him. The same thing with a woman. If you break up with a woman, why on earth should she still be required to cook you food? It's ridiculous.
Less than 40% of child support ever gets paid, and when it does, it's usually not on time. Some of it takes years to collect.
Deceptions!
Less than 17% of spousal maintenance alimony gets paid.
Every day, more lies.
The men who went to prison because they couldn't afford the child support and alimony say that statistic is fake.
I spent more on my crappy divorce attorney than I got in the one alimony payment that my ex-husband made and child support in the first 3 years after my divorce.
Men get screwed the most. Then the divorce lawyer screws the woman who just screwed their husband. The people who profit most from divorce are the lawyers who get a very big chunk of the assets they are able to steal from the husband. That's why divorce is a $50 billion industry.
It took 3 years before I broke even from what I spent on my crap attorney. And I hear the same thing from so many women. Very seldom do I have a woman who says, oh, I got half in the divorce, I was taken care of, the court ordered him to pay the attorney's fees, and my life is great because I get alimony and child support. I literally never hear that.
Good. You should never hear that. Unfortunately, I do, and this happens a lot. Under no circumstance should a man have his life ruined just because you want a divorce. You want half his stuff, alimony, child support, and for him to pay your attorney fees? Did you ever consider what that would do to him? Or do you not care? If you tried getting a job, rather than trying to use your ex-husband as a financial slave, you wouldn't be in this situation.
So here's specific.
I love how these women will do all of this crying. They will do all of this complaining. They'll get on the internet and do their fake research. They will spend so much time doing all of this stuff just to avoid getting a job and being an adult, right? That's so crazy to me. Also, the reason why this woman probably isn't hearing as much about women who get absolutely everything is because the women who get everything, they're chilling. They're not out here crying and complaining on TikTok because they successfully stole his crap. You see what I'm saying? It's a survivorship bias or whatever it's called, right? All of the women who probably stole from the husbands who got absolutely everything, they're not going to be responding to women like this or making TikTok videos complaining that they didn't get anything because they got everything that they wanted from stealing from the guy. And let's not kid ourselves here, all right? This happens a lot of the time. This woman's like, oh, women, women barely ever get anything from divorcing their husbands. Number one, they shouldn't get anything to begin with. Number two, there are a lot of cases, actually, where women are stealing money, stealing assets from men that they didn't put in for, to be honest with you.
Specifically why I didn't get half of everything in my divorce, because
We don't care.
he immediately drove to the bank, took out all of the money, every single penny that was in his bank account, and I never recouped it.
In his bank account, you don't say. That's so weird, right? How he went to the bank and withdrew the money from, let's say it again, his bank account, and you have a problem with that. It's not your money, you parasite. This is absolutely, guys, this gives me a damn headache, right? Because so many women, I'm telling you, it's like the man will go out here, he will work his entire life, okay? He will work so incredibly hard to get money, to be stable, to even be looked at by the modern woman, because a lot of these women won't look at you unless you have money anyway. They don't want a long-term relationship with you. They don't want a marriage with you unless typically you're going to be making something or are making something. All right, so dudes put in all this work, and then these women think that they're entitled to the money that he earned, right? And of course he went straight to the bank and withdrew it all, especially if you had his details, because you were probably going to take it from him. This guy is smart, right? I don't think you should have had, I don't think he should have given you the access to that in the first place. I don't think women should be touching men's finances whatsoever. But, given the situation, it was the best idea for him to go out and withdraw it all, because it sounds to me like you would have just stolen his money anyway.
The court didn't give it back to me.
They didn't give you any of it because it isn't yours. Who put the idea that men's money was also theirs in their heads? It doesn't work like that, especially when you didn't contribute to any of it.
Within 3 days of our marriage ending, I would be at Trader Joe's and not be able to pay for a $43 bag full of groceries. The day after.
Not my problem. Do not care. Oh no, I divorced my husband and I'm out here on the street. I tried to take his kids and I tried to take everything. And now I can't afford my groceries. Cool, get a job. Didn't ask. Be an adult. Guys, I love how it's always like, I'm strong and independent. I don't need no man. I'm going to ditch my man. And then as soon as they get a bill, they jump on TikTok and they cry and complain about being unable to afford groceries. Absolute comedy.
After that, I would have to walk to a neighbor's house and ask if they could give me a $20 bill that I'd never be able to pay back so that I could put gas in my car and drive my kids to school.
If you divorce your husband who pays for everything, you would need to get a job. Or were you planning on him still funding your life, even though you divorced him?
A working spouse should be legally obligated to put money into a savings account for their stay-at-home partner that becomes the property of just that stay-at-home partner should they divorce.
These women are absolutely delusional. No. Absolutely not. So this woman just told us, guys, that men are supposed to put money into a bank account, that women, when they divorce you, right, because that's obviously the end goal, they should be able to take all of that so that they can look after themselves after they leave you. I've said it before and I will say this again. Women who leave their husbands deserve absolutely nothing, right? Can you imagine? I've made this point on a couple of recent videos, guys, but can you imagine if men, right, they divorced their wives and dudes were out here like, yeah, I divorced my wife, but you know what? I still expect her to cook for me. I still expect her to clean for me. I still expect intimacy. And if she doesn't do that, then I'm going to get a court order to have her thrown in jail, right? Because it's against the law. You know, guys, like I've spent so many years not cooking. I've just been working. So my cooking skills are diminished. So in order to support me, because I've become accustomed to that lifestyle, I think that my ex-wife should now have to come into the house again and start cooking for me, right? And if she doesn't do that, then I'm going to take her back to court and I'm going to throw her in jail. You don't see men saying that. And the reason why men don't say this is because it's stupid. You don't deserve other people's things. This is essentially, guys, this is just robbery with extra steps. That's all that it is. It's just stealing, but you're going through the courts to do it. And the governments, of course, do this because they don't want to be the ones who are paying money to the women. They'd rather scam the men too, right? Why would the government want to support kids and a woman who's jobless also when they can just get the man to do it? Great stuff, government. And you want, guys, it's so crazy to me. This is why men don't have trust in the government. This is why men don't have trust in women. And this is why a lot of guys are turning away from marriage. I mean, there's a lot more reasons than this, let's be honest. There's like 500 of them. But this is a big one.
Partner should they divorce.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Because this system of depending on a crazy ex-husband who wants you not even to be here anymore and definitely doesn't want to pay you a penny. And
yeah, of course he doesn't want you to be there anymore because you left him. You divorced him. Why would he want you in his house? So let me get this straight. Woman divorces husband, tries to steal his money, and then she's shocked and surprised when the dude doesn't want her around anymore. I mean, this all makes complete sense to me. I don't know about you guys watching this, right? But if a woman wants to leave you, she can leave, get the hell out, and never want to see you again. This is exactly how it should work. Get the hell out of the house. I'm not paying for anything for you anymore because you have withdrawn that privilege, say again, privilege, by yourself. This is something that she chose to do.
that's the guy not even to be here anymore and definitely doesn't want to pay you a penny. And that's the guy who's supposed to pay your rent. It's ridiculous.
He's not responsible for paying your rent. You're a grown adult who's responsible for yourself, but you'd rather complain about him not having to fund your life than get a job to fund your own life.
Let me just tell you something. I don't know what the deal is with, men now.
What is wrong with men this time?
But I had told him prior that I will be having pre- and post-date expenses, and is that okay, and are you going to cover them?
serious?
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode.
Ah, yes, there's nothing quite so charming as a woman charging a man for her time.
I don't know if he wasn't listening or like what the deal was or whatever.
Maybe he thought one was kidding, joking around, because who would honestly take that amount of entitlement seriously?
But when I handed him the white envelope, he looked shocked.
Gee, I can't imagine why.
And he opened it, and it's receipts. Hello, pre-post date expenses. Hello, like what kind of females do you be dating?
Probably the type that don't normally charge by the hour.
So I handed it to him, and he literally looked shocked at me and said, "I can't cover this." It was.
I mean, again, just the extra steps being involved here. You know, I wish these women would just come out and say that they're night workers, because that's essentially what a lot of these girls are. This woman right here is trying to charge men money for pre and post date expenses. So she's trying to get dudes to pay for her makeup and clothes and all of this kind of nonsense, which is just absolutely hilarious to me. I've heard this argument fly around the internet a bunch where like men should be paying for women's crap because it takes them a while to get ready. No, thank you. Not really interested in doing that, right? If you want to pay a woman for her time, I mean, dudes would just go and see a night worker. Essentially, that's essentially what these women are, right? If you're sitting here making a video trying to charge dudes to interact with you, I mean, this just sounds like being a night worker with extra steps, right? So many of these things, like women will try and be like, yeah, I'm classy, I'm high value, and then they will do the exact same behaviors as women who work in the S3X industry. You see what I'm saying? It's like, what part about that exactly is classy? And then they go on and they complain that none of the dudes that they match with on dating apps want anything serious to do with them, right? Or none of the men that they meet in real life, they're not interested in pursuing a relationship. I mean, we hear these women throw around words like emotionally immature and he's just a little boy. And all of this is code for basically the man wouldn't be bullied into committing to me because I'm a psycho. That's really what it is. These women are quite honestly incredibly psychopathic.
$478 for pre and post date expenses.
In terms of great investment ideas, something that comes off in less than 2 minutes of soap is not the best thing to invest $478 in.
You asked me on a date, and mind you, we really didn't even have that good a conversation because he was on his phone the whole time, and I have a very strict no phone policy on dates. Hello, you're here to pay attention to me. Look at all the effort that I had to put into going on this date, and now you have a problem with pre and post date expenses?
If only some individuals put the same amount of effort into their personalities as they did to their outward appearances, some might not be on their phones.
See, on this $478 thing, by the way, you could invest this $478 into absolutely anything else, and it would be way more worth it. Guys, you could take that $500 or near about $500, and you might as well just throw it into some random meme coin on the internet, and it will give you better returns than this. I don't care if it loses 99% of its value, because guess what? You throw that kind of money at women like this, guys, you are going to lose 100% of the value. Right? And let's just say she does like you, you two get along, right? You have some fun times together. Whoops, all of a sudden you've got a disease that I can't mention here on the channel. You see what I'm saying? What a great investment, guys. You invest $500. The woman's incredibly unpleasant to be around. And at the end of it, hey, maybe you'll get some disease because 35 other men have been with her in the past 2 weeks. Let's continue.
Their outward appearances, some
$300,000 a year, working 30 hours a week.
So let's just catch up on this. I think I've skipped a little bit too far. So she says, let me get this straight.
There's women out here that expect men to be making $300,000 a year, working 30 hours a week so they can be home by 4 p.m. so then they can then help with the household chores, the cooking, the cleaning, and all of the labor-intense jobs that women do. If that's not unrealistic enough, in between all of that and getting that bag with 30 hours, he's expected to create a Disneyland movie with rose petals on the bed, trips planned and dates planned 24/7 so she can post it on Instagram to get the fulfillment and validation from other people. If that's not unrealistic enough, then men are expected to give up all of their hobbies, all of their interests, and only be interested in her. And this is all while he simultaneously gives up all of his dreams, all of his aspirations, and only picks jobs that cater to the bag that she's looking for. As if all of that is not unrealistic enough, he's also expected to never look at another woman or even glance in her direction or like any pictures on Instagram. Meanwhile, she is allowed to post her butt cheeks on the internet and get all of the validation either from men or other women. So when he has expectations and boundaries, it doesn't matter if she doesn't respect them, but he's supposed to respect her 24/7 with little to nothing in return.
I mean, this sounds pretty accurate, right? This is exactly what a lot of modern women demand. And now it doesn't mean all women are going to be demanding this before, the old police come to my channel, right? And they start crying and complaining in the comments. But a lot of modern women, this is exactly what they want. This is exactly what they'll demand from dudes. Right? You have to make a lot of money, but you also have to have a lot of spare time. You have to never pay another woman attention. You have to be completely and utterly monogamous to her, but she can have 5,000 DM chats with random dudes on Instagram. Okay, you're supposed to talk to her all of the time, but she's a complete headache. You know what I'm saying? And this is absolutely true, right? I think a lot of guys are they get into these relationships, they get into these marriages, and I think men are getting the short end of the stick, because you've got to ask yourself the question, right? Men are just kind of expected to jump into relationships. They're expected to jump into marriages and put up with a whole bunch of nonsense behavior. But my question is, why should men do that in the first place, right? What exactly do men get out of this particular situation, right? If you're going to say kids, right? Which, okay, let's just say your argument is, oh, well, men get kids out of the situation. Why would you want to have kids with these women in the first place? Like, particularly women who demand all of this crap, right? Is like, why exactly should a man have kids with you in the first place? I mean, you're probably going to steal the kids. So what's the point? You're probably going to try and run away with them. Like, I mean, I don't understand why a guy would invest into these women at all, to be honest with you. I see a lot of guys, who are out here, they're successful men, and they've got wives who are complete and utter headaches, right? They want to go golfing on the weekend, and they have to, like, ask for permission. And the wife can say no. And these are dudes who make millions of dollars a year and stuff like this, right? Hyper successful men are putting up with absolute nonsense, right? They can't even enjoy themselves. Disgusting.
And get all of the validation either from men or other women. So when he has expectations and boundaries, it doesn't matter if she doesn't respect them, but he's supposed to respect her 24/7 with little to nothing in return. And the funny thing is that even when this man tries to give her everything and he becomes more emotionally in tune by going to therapy and doing all of the things that she asks, she's going to consistently change the goalpost so it makes it impossible. Not only are her unrealistic expectations impossible to meet, he'll meet them every single step of the way, and it's still never going to be good enough. And she'll end up cheating with some Joe Schmo down the street that...
I mean, that's the real cherry on top, right? Is, let's just say you're the dream guy who does all of these things. You listen to everything she wants. You're a complete and utter cuck, for better words, right? You do all of these great and fantastical things. I mean, these are the dudes who get cheated on. The guys who sit in the relationship and they put absolutely everything into that relationship with a woman who doesn't deserve it, who's got red flags coming out the wazoo, right? And men will sit here, they will put absolutely everything into these women, and then the women will just cheat on them at the end anyway and try and take their kids, try and take half their assets. Hell, half the time, a good portion of the time, the kids aren't even the men's kids in the first place, right? We saw that paternity fraud clip at the beginning of today's episode with these two individuals right here. I mean, we've got this, I don't know what is the deal with these shows. I don't know if they're real. They're probably glamorized. I have no idea what the hell's going on here. But you have this creature out here yelling, saying that the kid belongs to this particular man, but of course it doesn't. Right? So men are expected to invest all of this for entitled people who treat them this way. Absolutely not, men. Right? I think it's entirely justified that a lot of guys are walking away from relationships, they're walking away from marriages, and they don't want to deal with women like this. This woman right here believes that the dude should be essentially paying her a wage while she's in the relationship that she can then take and steal when she decides to leave him and take his kids. I mean, what kind of world are we living in? But guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Don't forget to check out Matrix of Madness and The Modern King. I'm going to leave them linked in the video description and maybe the pinned comment as well if I remember. But otherwise, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.